All right, I'm starting on this video mad. I'm gonna be honest, flat out honest. I'm mad. I'm mad that this has gone so far. I'm mad that society doesn't have value in it and it's just being swept under the rug. And I'm mad that most people are going to click off this video just like this. Why? Because it's not bright, it's not funny, it's not cheery, it's not comfortable. But what I'm really mad about is last year's statistics. 800,000 men ended their lives at their own hands. 800,000 across this world. Also, that 1 in 20, they're successful. That means 800,000 times 20 is how many times people tried to make a decision to say, I'm done. Men, this is Mental Health Awareness Month, Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. And so all this stuff comes up on my feed. And I'm mad. Some of our greatest, our best, our brightest are choosing to go to a point to where they can never come back from. And there have been opportunities to stop them from getting to that point. The brokenness, the fracturedness, the aloneness, the disparity, going through all that in life just to say it's not worth it. That's sad. And I'm angry. I'm angry at myself. There have been opportunities I know that I just wasn't paying attention. That I was full of myself and I was just tiptoeing through this world thinking everything's great. 800,000. 4 men attempt suicide. I'm not supposed to say that word. Let me edit that out. 4 men attempt to end their time compared to 1 time per woman. So that's 80%. And that's in America. That's an American statistic. I've been thinking about this for a little bit, and I've been thinking about I'm going to tell stories. I'm going to have perfect lighting, I'm going to have video, and my B-roll, and I'm going to have all these things because I want to reach as many people as I can. I'm disappointed that people aren't watching this video and people aren't sharing this video, not because I need clicks. That crap ain't got nothing to do with it. It's the fact that this message needs to get out and needs to be heard, and the people that hear it need to share it with others so it needs to be heard, so that we can help 800,000 men. And there are women out there. We need to help them too. But it's Men's Mental Health Month, and I'm talking about the ones that aren't being paid attention to. Society says, be a man. Shoot, I do. I'm all about being the rough and rugged, the protector, the defender, the worker, the fixer, the save the family, the rescue the world, the put your burdens on me. I'm down with it. If you stubbed your toe or if you had a bad day at work, I don't think that's a big dang deal. You just need to suck it up and be a man and deal with it. But there are things that we as men deal with that we just don't acknowledge, we don't share, and we don't get help, and we get overwhelmed, and we choose to make decisions for a short-term problem with long-term consequences. And that's unacceptable. There's a difference between whining and complaining and needing help. And it is hard. I will be the first one to say when I'm talking to somebody, we need to get you some help, or how can I help you, how can I this and that. And I could be going through the worst gosh awful thing. I could be thinking I am worthless. I could be thinking that I have no value. I could be thinking the world's crushing in on me. I don't know what to do. I ain't telling nobody. I'm going to suck it up. The experiences I had in the military, I ain't telling nobody. I'm sucking it up. And there are times when it almost gets too much. We as a society need to value mental health. We need to remove the stigma. We need to give people room to not be okay. Yeah, there's new songs, there's new this, there's new that. We got a whole month for it. You know what? I'm talking about regular Joe, because I tell you what, those people that sing these songs, great songs, dude. Dax is killing it to be a man. Oh my God. And then Jelly Roll's got a song, and there's some other songs out there, and great songs. But I ain't never sat down nowhere. I ain't never went to work nowhere with none of them. I ain't never gonna see them at the grocery store. I dang sure ain't gonna reach out to them if I'm struggling. But I got somebody in my life. It's the people that are in people's lives that need to reach out. You need to reach out. I need to reach out. You need to seek out those uncomfortable conversations. And be willing that when somebody seeks out an uncomfortable conversation with you, that you look at it and you say, you know what, maybe I'm not got this all together. Maybe I'm not fooling everybody. Maybe I'm only fooling myself, and maybe it's time to let go of a little bit of these burdens. So today I did not want to do, I did, but then I decided against, because doing a story, doing it creative, doing all the stuff, because I don't reach people, but that's not me. I just care. I'm dumb. I don't have all that tech. I don't have all that ability. I'm just willing to open my mouth and say the things that comes from the heart. And the things that come from the heart is you're valuable. Nothing it's worth you saying I'm done. It's not. If you get to that point and you can't reach anybody, you can reach me. And I guarantee there's somebody else. There's hotlines you can talk to. I think 988 is the new National Mental Health Awareness Hotline. You can even text it where you don't have to talk if you don't want to talk. You can pick up the phone and dial operator, I guess, and say, hey, I got a problem. They'll talk to you. And they'll connect you with somebody. So instead of doing all that stuff, I just wanted to give you the brass tacks, because anybody can paint a pretty picture. Anybody can make you feel one way or the other emotionally. Anybody can get you in that moment. But you know what? Getting in that moment and it just being a moment is short term. This is a long-term problem. So we need to have a change in here and in here, so that what comes out of here can help somebody save themselves. It's not your job to save nobody. You can't. But I believe it's your job to be a vessel to help. When people are at their worst, they need somebody who's there to make a difference. So I went on some websites. I looked at some stuff, and I'm just going to read you off some stuff. Boring, right? Most of y'all have already clicked off. I guarantee when I look at the analytics, it's going to be at top. When I was being angry and loud in the beginning, they wanted to see what happened. As soon as I said it was about men's mental health, it hit the bottom. It shot down. I can about guarantee that a bunch of people ain't going to share this. And I get it. I get it. That's not what you're here for. You're here for Bob the Cigar Guy. You're here for cigars. You're here for funny jokes. You're here for lighthearted stories. You're here to feel good about yourself. And I'm glad that you're here for that. And I'm glad we're smoking cigars. This Sober Mesa Elegante and Cedro is one of my favorite cigars. Steve Saka is an awesome individual. Dumbarton Tobacco Trust is a great company. But today, it hit me that I needed to be true to myself and say this to everybody, even if nobody hears it. Because at some point, this conversation is going to come up, and I'm going to encourage somebody to do this, and I better be able to say I did when they ask me, well, have you done anything? Because I say no, why are you going to listen to me? If I say no, you know what? Clean up your own house before you get into mine, all right? And they're right. They're right. Let me do some reading. Key statistics around suicide and depression. For every... I'm not supposed to say that word. I just got jammed up. Oh well. For every one of those, there's approximately 20 attempts made. Each one leaves behind a community of bereaved family, friends, colleagues, and acquaintances. For every one of those, at least 7 to 10 people are directly affected by the loss. So if you're thinking that nobody's going to care, nobody's going to notice, nobody's going to be affected, it doesn't matter, I'm disposable, you're wrong. You are wrong. You are valuable. People love you, and you will be missed. If they knew what you were going through and where you are, I believe they would show that love to you to help you never get to that point. And if you've surrounded yourself, or you find yourself surrounded with people that don't give a crap, get away from those people. Find good people. If you ain't got nobody, you got me. I ain't smart. I ain't got the answers. But I got 2 ears, and I'll listen, and I got a heart, and I'll care, and I'll pray, and I'll hope, and I'll sit with you in the hard times, even if it's virtual. Research shows that mental illness is the most important risk factor for that. More than 90% of people who in their life that way struggle with their mental health and or addiction. Researchers estimate up to 60% of people who do that have major depression. Here's the thing. When I was working construction, or when I was working at a foundry, we called it the snatched glove. The guy who did quality control and did safety called it the snatch glove test. If somebody got their glove, we use grinders, huge grinders, big wheel grinders. I mean, huge, ginormous things spinning at hundreds of 20, 30, 40,000 RPM. And when they're putting these little bolts right there to grind off the edges that come off the foundry, every once in a while it would snatch their gloves off. Shoop, suck it right up in there. And you couldn't get gloves just by getting gloves. You had to go to that guy and say, I need a new pair of gloves. He'd say, why? And you'd have to say, well, it got sucked up in the machine. First thing he did was check the machine. He checked the machine to make sure that the guards were in place. He checked the machine to make sure that everything was like it was supposed to be. All the safeties were in working order. Then he would check on the employee and see if he had been working a ton of overtime. Why? Why is it such a big deal? It's just a freaking glove. $10. Companies making billions of dollars, millions of dollars. What the heck's a pair of gloves? Why is it such a big deal? It's such a big deal because when you get that close by sucking your glove off into a grinder, the other edge of that, half an inch away from that, is your fingers. And it sucks your hand in. And so if they can stop the gloves from getting ripped off, you'll never have the fingers getting ripped off, in theory. It'll minimize it a lot. And so mental health and depression are important. We don't need to wait until everybody is at their last moment. I'm a liar. Oh my God, I'm a liar. I can be going through the worst things in the whole wide world, and I can be the happiest guy around. And if you ask me how am I doing, man, I'm doing great. Lie. I'm doing okay. Lie. Man, I'm living my best life ever. Lie. Sometimes. Partly because I'm too prideful. Partly because I bit into the thing of being a man. You can't never fail. You can't never lose. Nobody needs to hear it. Partly is because I don't think I'm valuable enough that anybody would care. And another part is if I don't perform the way I need to perform, people are going to leave me because they're here. Because I am just the thing they need. They don't need to help me. I need to help them. So I'm a liar. Are you? When you ask somebody how they're doing, sometimes it's, hey, how you doing? I'm fine, blah, blah, blah. But if you're having a moment, you make a moment to say, hey, how you doing? And you know something's off with them. And they just kind of say, I'm fine. Good. Will you take the extra step and say, no, it's serious. You doing all right? I noticed just, you're all right. What's up? You want to talk later? Holler at me. And just let it be. And hopefully they have the desire to reach out. Hopefully you were there that moment that they just chose to let their guard down just enough to share just a little that hurts so much that could stop the hurting forever. Yeah, this ain't a regular Bob the Cigar Guy show, is it? The global disparity in those rates between men and women is a well-documented phenomenon, with men consistently exhibiting higher rates. This disparity is attributed to a complex interplay of many factors. While men tend to use more lethal methods, they are more likely during any attempt, meaning that it is not the method alone that explains the vast difference. Other factors such as alcohol, severity of underlying illness, loneliness. That word loneliness on this thing, on that website, is highlighted. And shame. Alcohol use, severity of underlying illness, loneliness, and shame must be considered as contributing factors to the elevated rates among men. Together, these findings highlight the need for targeted interventions and public health initiatives to address the unique challenges faced by men in relation to that. Now, I do believe we need to get organizations publicly involved in it. Yes, we need a system. We need all mental health all the way across the thing. We need to step up. We need to catch up. But you know what? That first intervention comes from me and comes from you. If they're not going to talk to somebody they don't know, maybe they'll talk to you. Maybe you've earned an opportunity to listen to them. Take the opportunity. Ending your life is a leading cause of death for men under the age of 50. Men account for 75 to 80%. Men are much less likely to get help for their mental health. (16.2% of self-check submissions reflect daily thoughts about that. 16.2%. That means almost 1 out of every 5 phone calls that they get. USA, in 2015, roughly 9.8 million adults. See, now I was going to do this. I was going to type in 800,000. What country has 800,000 people? So I could tell you some little country. Make that country disappear every year, and that's what we're losing in men in making that decision. Then I was going to go into cities, or maybe states in the United States, and I'd start saying this state, just make it go away. That state, this city, this county. But I decided not to be that inflammatory, but I'm going to challenge you to do it. It's an easy search. Maybe when you have a conversation with somebody, you can share that with them, because I hope the few of you who are watching this far, 19 minutes in, are moved enough to try to make a difference. $9.8 million adults age 18 or older thought seriously about trying to in the previous 12 months. That's just one website. There's tons of information. I sit here And as I've thought about this the whole week about how I'm going to do this video, I feel inept. I feel unable. I feel like I don't have the resources to make a difference. I don't, well, sometimes I just don't want to be alienated. You go and you talk to somebody, there's a risk. They may be like, I don't want to talk to you no more, you're weird. You know, why do you keep talking about this stuff? Why did you talk to me about that? They might get mad. They might get sad. And there are some people that there have been opportunities I cared about my comfort more than I've cared about their forever. Some of them are people I really don't know. Some of them are people I kind of know. Some of them are people that are real close to me. That did not taste good. But if I'm not going to be honest, how can I expect you to be honest? I don't think I'm the only one going through this. This is not something you post up on Facebook. This is, you know, you see it. Veterans 22 or 28 or whatever. PTSD issues, women's issues. And sometimes it talks about men's issues, but then, you know, guys are guys, and we're stupid. Sometimes we don't want to admit, I don't, that I've got problems or that I've got weaknesses. I don't want to let my family down. I don't want to let I don't want people to think that of me. I don't want people to look at me differently and say, "Oh, that's that guy that blah blah blah." And there are people who go through that same situation and then they decide to say, "You know what? I can't ask for help. I don't want to lose my reputation. I don't want to embarrass anybody. I don't want to burden anybody, so I'm just going to go ahead and be dead." That's dumb. That's dumb. If you suspect somebody or if you know somebody, I hope that you take the opportunity to reach out. Use this month as an excuse. Say, hey, you know, I was watching this video. Use me. I was watching this video, Bob Cigar guy, crazy stupid fella. He's just goofy, but I was watching this thing, and he told me that 800,000 fellers did this a year. It's crazy, right? He also told me that, you know, people don't want to talk about it. Guys don't want to talk about it. And I don't want to talk about my stuff all the time either. And he challenged me. I just thought I'd do a challenge. So he asked me to ask my 5 closest friends, honestly, how are they doing? So, yeah, it's kind of dumb. It's kind of goofy. But, you okay? You know we can talk, right? You know I ain't gonna. I mean, if you're gonna do something silly, I'm gonna tell somebody. But if it's just stuff, if you got a vent, you know I'm there, right? We're sitting there smoking a cigar. We chat a little bit. We ain't gotta talk about politics or sports. Talk about this. Talk about yours. I'll talk about mine. I challenge you to do that. And then if you're in a situation right now to where that's the only option you see to deal with your situation, please get help. Please. If you can't move far enough to call 988 or to call a hotline, which is real easy. Don't say you don't know what it is. All you have to do is type prevention hotline in your city. It'll be a 1-800 number. It'll be a whatever number. It's easy enough to do. If you could find me on YouTube, you can find it on search engines. Use your phone. But if you can't do that, and you just are willing, reach out to me. I don't know the answers, but I got ears and a heart. And I'll care. And I'll pray. You are valuable. No matter what you've done, no matter what you're going through, no matter your history, you are valuable. You are worth it. And if you're thinking about doing that long-term consequence, don't. There's some way we can do something about it. Please. Please. Stay around as long as you can. Please. If you're tired of not being happy, if you just don't feel like being happy, if it doesn't matter about being happy, get some help then too. Don't wait till the last minute. Please. I love you. Other people love you. And you're worth it. I ask you to share this if you would, because maybe you don't need to hear it. Somebody does. Maybe if one of those 800,000 people heard this message from a goofy country boy in a shed in Travelers Rest, South Carolina, it might have been 799,799. That makes it all worth it. I love you. I really do. I'll see you later. I will. Later, Tater.